This week we are starting off by recapping last week's OVFL action. Unfortunately, the Bantam Lions lost to the Brampton Bulldogs by a final score of 47-19. The junior varsities handed the Mississauga Warriors a 41-21 loss. And our varsity teams also picked up a commanding win against the Mississauga Warriors, winning that one by a final score of 53-13. Now, we were able to sit down with one of the Warriors and ask them what they thought of our varsity team.
Magic. Whole lot of magic.
That, of course, was a clip from the 1979 cult classic, The Warriors. Now, we will take a look at the standings here. Both the varsity and junior varsity Lions currently sitting in 4th place in both leagues. Unfortunately, the varsity Lions not getting any help from Mississauga or Essex. They won both of their games as well, all three, currently holding the 5-1 record, though due to point differential, Cambridge does remain in 4th. Also in the junior varsity, they sit in 4th, behind the Cumberland Panthers, Hamilton Ironmen, and the Myers Riders. We're now taking a look back at OMFL action from this past weekend. Both our Pee-wee and varsity teams did have bye weeks, so not a lot of action to report here. The Bantam Lions coming up just short against the Niagara Generals, losing that one by a score of 24-21. And our junior varsities defeated the TNT Express by a final score of 46-22. Now you'll notice that the junior varsities now have a 6-1 record. That is not a mistake. Unfortunately, it looks as though the Clarington Knights have surrendered the last half of the season after posting a 1-3 record in the first 4 games. The remaining 4 games of the season have all been recorded as forfeits, so obviously something going on there. Although Cambridge does pick up another win, that would have been their last week of the season, and they now only have 1 game to worry about, giving them extra time to prepare for the playoffs. Looking ahead to this weekend's action in the OVFL, the Lions are making the trip to TD Waterhouse in London to take on the Mustangs. All of these games will be taking place on Saturday, the Bantams kicking off at 12:30, followed by the junior varsity at 3 p.m. and the varsity at 6 p.m. Now, the varsity are facing off against a London Mustangs team, which is usually dominant, though currently only at week 6 has a 2-4 record, so they'll have to be careful not to underestimate them here. Now, looking at what the OMFL has in store, joining the rest of our varsity teams and taking the trip to London will be our Pee-wee Lions, though they will make the trip the next day on the Sunday for a 3 p.m. kickoff time. The Bantams with the bye. And on Friday night at 8 p.m., the junior varsity Lions will be playing host to the Steel City Steelers. This is our only home game this weekend, so there is no excuse for you not to be there unless you're making the trip with one of our other teams. And our varsity team will be making the trip to Orangeville, taking on the Outlaws on Sunday at 1 p.m. Again, just the one home game, folks, so we'd love to see you out at the Jake on Friday night. We are now approaching the end of the season, and things are really starting to heat up. OVFL is in its 7th week of action, while the OMFL is in its 8th week of action. So we'd certainly love to see you out at the Jake to cheer on all of our teams as some of them make that final push towards the playoffs. And as some of them will be moving into the playoffs, we do expect to see some large crowds. We certainly hope to see you out at the Jake. We hope you all had a fun and safe Canada Day, and we will see you at the Jake on Friday night. And remember, if you can, please make the trip to London as well as Orangeville to go cheer on our teams. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Lions Roar.